Yes, my friends, I'm back now. I've been away this past 7 days, and coming back, I kind of wish that I had another week off because I'm coming back to yet again more crazy reports surrounding our football club. As currently, we are learning of a brewing civil war between our owners and Todd Boehly and Egbahli. So today there's a lot to unpack in today's news video. So I hope you guys enjoy it. But before we move on, I got one big plug to announce, and currently, courtesy of Football Prizes, there's a chance to win a signed Noni Madueke shirt. But on top of that, also win signed shirts from Enzo Fernandez and Cristo Nkunku. If you guys like the sound of that, enter quick. You'll find links in the card above, description below, as this competition does end tomorrow, Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. UK time. So good luck to anyone that does participate. So that's all that good stuff out of the way. Let's now get into things to discuss this pretty worrying story. Now, I like to tackle the news first. Let's discuss all the latest up-to-date information that we are learning surrounding this ever-developing story. Bloomberg were the first ones to break the story a handful of days ago, and they revealed that currently the ownership surrounding our football club is currently under scrutiny because we're learning of a deterioration in relations between Todd Boehly and Egbahli around their personal visions around our football club. And I'm going to keep saying our football club because it is our football club. But anyway, they are currently exploring the possibilities right now to buy each other's controlling stakes out from the football club. Now, I'm going to give you guys some context right now. Obviously, Clearlake Consortium, private equity investment group that has around 70 billion in assets that they're currently working with, they own around 61.5% of our club. The remaining 39.5% is evenly divided between Todd Boehly, Swiss billionaire Weiss, and another billionaire, Mark Walters. We're learning that the current bad relations between Boehly and Egbahli are due to how they feel the club should be run. And the main different opinions focus on three things. That's the player recruitment sides, the team's underperformance, and the lack of progression with any plans to get this stadium done. Because we have to remember, we're supposed to be in a new stadium by 2030. That was the deadline set for us to move into a stadium in a new location or in a revamped, expansionized Stamford Bridge. Because relations have broken so much, it's being reported that both parties now are exploring the possibilities to buy each other out. Now, reports mention that Todd Boehly feels like he has the right investors that could raise more than 2.5 billion needed to maybe entice Clearlake Consortium to relinquish their controlling stake and make a decent profit on top. Whereas Egbahli and Clearlake feel like no, they are in no position where they want to sell any controlling stake. We're learning that Egbahli has more of an emotional connection and tie now to the football club, which I guess makes a lot of sense considering the fact that we've seen Todd Boehly's influence wane over the seasons and he's kind of going to the periphery a bit. Whereas Egbahli is there day to day, running things alongside Winsley, Stewart, really in the nitty gritty things, really diving into that nitty gritty side around the football club. Give you guys some more context, of course. The sporting directors work on the player recruitment side, and Egbahli works on the finances around the contracts and just all those financial aspects that actually makes these signings come to life, right? Right now, both parties are exploring the possibilities on how they could buy each other out. Now, I could turn this conversation into who I feel more confidence in. Am I Team Todd or Egbahli? And I can't believe I actually just said that out of my mouth. But personally, I just think it's such a redundant thing for anyone to really care about because we still don't really know from either party who's the best possible candidate. Realistically, let's keep things brutally honest. If you have more affinity towards either owner, I think a lot of that will come down to personal projections based on a handful of things that maybe you've read over the recent years that you've connected to. But personally, I think it's pretty redundant to really have a favorite in either Todd Boehly or Egbahli right now. We know that from Boehly's part, he believes that you should allow the experts to run the club. You take a hands-off approach, and this model has brought great success to the LA Dodgers baseball team, where they're one of the most successful baseball teams right now. Whereas Egbahli on the other side feels like the player recruitment sides, making a return on your investments, the financial aspects, and feels like the club can find great success on a realistic competitive budget, but also in terms of the actual management around things, he likes the idea of two directors. He wants to be very heavily involved in every decision. And of course, data and the youth model approach, due to the financial benefits of signing these players very young when they're at their most affordable wage packets, that is the way to go. Boehly also feels like there should be more progress done with the stadium right now. And he does also agree with the youth model approach and the multi-network approach. We've seen him do many public interviews around the, aspirations and long-term planning for our football club. And both of our owners, of course, share that same vision. But I think it really comes down to the approaches of how to actually make that vision come to life. And I think that's currently where the main issue is. That's currently where this civil war is brewing from. And it seems very inevitable that by the end of this season, there will only be either Egbahli or Todd Boehly at this football club. And maybe we should have seen the signs coming a long way, because over the past 18 months, there's been many soft reports coming out around this contradiction and message around the football club and what's actually going on. And I think one of the clear examples of this last season surrounded Mauricio Pochettino, because it's quite clear that Todd Boehly was in favor of keeping him and giving him more time and patience to develop what he was working on last season. Whereas Egbahli and co felt like he wasn't showing enough. There was no clear identity in the football. And I guess they feared that he wasn't necessarily getting the very best out of the recruitments that they've made over the years. Now I can understand it from both sides, actually. If you're Egbahli, you might think to yourself, well, listen, Boehly, when you were the interim director, this is where a lot of the stagnation actually started from, because you bought a lot of older players, you gave them ridiculous contracts, very expensive wages, they weren't the right fit, they didn't have the right quality, and you actually affected the type of business we could do in the future, because we've had to let some of these guys go on a big loss, just be able to free more flexibility in terms of freeing up money to recruit more players to replace them. You're the one that was also in favor of Graham Potter. Listen, very quickly for myself, I think everyone's been too harsh on this guy, because when he came here, it was an absolute mess. And I think if it was any other manager over Graham Potter during that particular season, none of them would have found success. Let's keep it brutally real now, especially considering all the context we're learning ever since that appointment. But obviously, if you're Egbahli, you might think to yourself, well, you gave him and his team 20 million to buy him from Brighton, and the payoff to then sack him at the end of the season was a ridiculous amount of money. So is your approach necessarily the best approach for the football club? Whereas Boehly might think, well, listen, the sanctions actually was the most influential thing that really just affected the possibilities from the start, right? We didn't have any sporting directors at the time. The ones that we tried to hire, we couldn't get at the time in Michael Edwards. And it forced a situation where Todd Boehly had to work alongside Thomas Tuchel, alongside the help of third-party analytics and data-driven companies to recruit players that summer. And naturally, if you don't have as much experience, you're going to turn to one of the best managers in the world in Thomas Tuchel to help address his squad and sign the players for his needs. And that's why we saw a lot of your Koulibalis, Raheem Sterlings, Zakarias, etc., etc. Egbahli might think, well, you committed to the coach and to the experts to run things, but where exactly did that get any of us? It got us nowhere. And he might feel like this is why you can't just solely rely on the experts that you hire to run things. The ownership, the hierarchy, the structure, they determine what happens at the football club. But then getting back to things again, well, the contradiction could be, well, maybe that's coming at the expense of actually listening to football experts. I do know last season that there was some criticism from Pochettino's part around the fact that, he's a manager that's been in the game for decades as a player and as a coach. He has tons of football experience compared to directors who are a lot younger than him, who've only had their roles for a few years, and the new owner in Egbahli has only just literally dipped his toes into European football. In the end, this is why Pochettino mutually left the football club, because they realized that, of course, their ambitions for the club were just too different for things to really work out. So I wanted to give a bit of pros and cons to each side, because Listen, like, as I'm saying, I think it's pretty redundant to be Team Todd Boehly or, or be a Egbahli or whatever. I just think that it's a bit redundant to really be backing anyone right now because we haven't seen concrete signs of proof that either one of their models is guaranteed to lead to success. Like in typical fashion, maybe I'm being way too idealistic as I tend to be. I can hold my hands up to that. But I feel like if they could just maybe fuse both their philosophies together, that would probably be the most ideal one to have, right? Because I think there's sense in both Boehly and Egbahli's way of managing a football club. And now, with the reports we're reading right now, I guess it's no surprise why things haven't really just kicked off yet, because there is no sole unifying vision that's dictating what is happening with our football club. It's still a power struggle right now, and we're at the mercy of that. We're facing the consequences of that. Whenever you see an organization in dishevel or it's a bit of a mess, you have to look towards the leadership. They reflect what happens simply due to the fact that they make the executive decisions. They decide what's a yes and what's a no. So when your owners can't fully agree on what the yeses should be and what the no's should be, these are the consequences that we all face as fans surrounding our football club. So I have to say, it's not surprising news, but it's disappointing. And it's also a reminder that, don't get gassed by all the talks of the wheelings and the dealings and the exploits and the business and the gas and the transfer excitement. All of that is kind of nothing really. None of that is real in the sense. It's just like smoke and mirrors, because ultimately, with all these things you're doing, what exactly is the success being correlated to? And currently we're seeing that it's correlating to absolutely nothing right now. Hence why we are restarting another season from scratch to try and kick this project off the ground now. So I guess if there's one positive to take, is that there's going to be one person in control of the football club. But yet again, will that even solely determine whether this finally equates to success for us or not? We're left to wait and see what happens. So my friends, that's everything I need to say. Share your thoughts and opinions. A bit of a long video, but there's a lot to unpack today. And yeah, let's have a good conversation. And I'm really curious to read what you guys have to say and how you feel about what's going on. So I'm Nini FC. This is BlueLionsTV. See you all soon. Cool.